So the first step in this is to have like a designated part of the house where you're going to do this. So this is like Lily's bed. So when I say go to your bed, she goes to her bed. You can do it in the crate or like on the couch, like wherever the dog is most comfortable. And for the first like however long until, so basically what we're going to do is I'm going to give a series of steps, and you're not going to proceed to the next step before the dog is comfortable with the first step. So your first step would be just basically just have the dog do some like tricks laying down in this one spot, just to get the dog comfortable with like this is going to be a place where you're going to work with the dog, like paw, unless your dog's not comfortable with that yet, work on that, like touch, touch, here, yes. So that's basically your first step, just to have a place in the house where your dog is comfortable, where they're laid back, they're not anxious. That's where you're going to be working, that's where you're going to be, every time you're going to be working with nails, you're going to be doing that there. Your next step is going to be basically to start desensitizing the dog to having the feet touched. So if only just for a second, just touch feet. It might take a while if your dog doesn't know paw to get them to be okay with this. But literally all it needs to be is just like a fraction of a second. And you could try that with one foot and then other one. Good girl. Do it with the other one. Like you don't need to hold on to it for long. Just literally, even if they just brush, against you, just a very quick amount of contact. The next step you're gonna do is you're gonna have the contact, and you're just gonna put a little bit of pressure and let go. So contact, a little bit of pressure, let go. Over and over again. So what I would recommend is taking 2 to 3 days per step, depending on how fast your dog adjusts and how comfortable they are. If you feel like the first day you can already touch your dog's feet, you can obviously go a lot faster. But again, every dog is different. With Lily, things took a little longer because she didn't really love having her feet touched or held. So that's the next step. The step after that, and basically the consecutive steps after that car goes by, is just to extend how long you're holding the dog's foot. Yum, 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 yum. Yeah, it gets stuck in your teeth because you're bad at everything. So you're not doing anything to the feet. You're just getting the dog really used to the fact that you're going to be holding the foot and nothing bad is going to happen. That's like the key to all of this, is to make sure the dog knows that like no matter what you're doing, like it's not going to be bad. That was the problem with my last dog, was that he knew that I touch the feet and the nails get trimmed and sometimes he gets squicked and then that's bad. Which is part of the reason why I decided to never use a nail clipper with Lily and to only use a Dremel, because her quicks are very, very long to begin with and her nails are very, very black. So again, you're just working on like as long as you possibly can, having the dog hold their paw in your hand without them pulling back. And someone taught me at one point that you don't want to stress them out and kind of like force them, like pull, I mean I can do it to Lily, but you don't want to force them and like pull on their foot. If they do pull back, like if she tries to pull her foot away, I'll go with her, but I won't let go. And the second she relaxes, I'll let go and I'll reward that immediately. And I'm basically doing that so she doesn't learn that pulling away is gonna make the process stop, but if she relaxes, then I let go, and yeah, it's like eventually, like the goal of this process before you, what is this cat doing here? Before you even introduce the Dremel, is to make sure the dog is like absolutely comfortable with you touching the feet, like for however long, and then you can just start incorporating like spraying the toes apart, putting the foot down. So with every day, I basically would like you to do like a different, oh, that was your foot cracking or mine, I don't know. A different thing to just get the dog super, super comfortable with having the feet touched. And what I would prefer, see, she pulled it away and I didn't let go. She stops and I let go and I reward right away. Paw. I want like every nail, you just be able to look at every nail, touch between the pads. And again, like for some of you, this might take like one day and your dog will be fine. And the only problem you're having is that you just can't get to the clipping or to the dremeling. But like for some of you, it might take like a month just to get to the point, paw, where your dog will let you hold the paw. It doesn't really matter like how long it takes. It's you have to not move on to the next step before the dog is totally comfortable with the first one. And you would be looking for like crying if the dog starts, like she's licking her lips right now, but that's not because she's like, come on, we have to do this, we have to go. So like lip licking, yawning, like sniffing around a lot, just like any like basic, like the regular like signs of like stress that we learn about in like behavior in first year, second year. Good girl. So, okay, so now we've gotten to the point that your dog is, you can touch the feet, you can spread the nails. The next thing that you want to do is just with your hand, just get the dog used to the fact that you're putting pressure like on the nails. You're not doing this with a thing, you're just doing this with your hands. I know it's weird because you think that you know what's happening, but you don't. So, and like you're not just doing this with these feet, you're doing this with the back feet, front feet. You can switch the feet up, but just pop, just pressure on the nails, just a little bit. It doesn't have to be hard. You can get a little more pressure with every time you do this, just a little bit of pressure. I know you know the food is there. You know, just a little bit of pressure on all the nails. Other, do other one. I want the other one. I want the other one though. Come on, paw. This one, yeah. Paw. Good girl. Just a little bit of pressure. Okay, so now we would be at the place where you can pick up the foot, you can hold the foot basically as long as you want. The dog's not pulling back. You can put pressure on the toes. This is where it gets a little bit frustrating because this is where all dogs really, really vary. And with her, once she got used to the touching and the feet, this part went way faster, but for some dogs it might take a long time. So the point is basically you have a foot, pick up an object, drop everything, reward the dog. It doesn't even have to be the Dremel. It could be whatever you want that the dog, it could be like your remote control, it could be your phone. Just like, so the dog knows you pick up paw, foot, object, let go, done. If you're using a clicker, you can use a clicker, I usually use a word yes. It's kind of like a marker so the dog knows at that moment they've done the exact thing that you wanted them to do. So paw, object, yes, and reward. It's an easier way and a faster way for you to be able to tell the dog that like you did the exact right thing and the reward is coming. It just might take a while, like whether the reward like fell down or whether you need to reach for the reward, but like in that moment, like that you did exactly what I wanted you to do. So however long it takes the dog to just be comfortable with you picking up an object. Yes. And I would honestly, if your dog is super stressed out, let me just make sure the video is still running at this point. Yay. If the dog gets super stressed out with the nail stuff, I would try to do literally like as many objects as you can before you get to the thing, because the chances are your dog probably is like my last dog and he sees not even the nail clippers but like the drawer the nail clippers came from and like it's over. You can even have the nail clippers like next to you while you're doing this but never touch them. Just like you're trying to get the dog to know like we're here, we're doing this, nothing bad is ever gonna happen to me. Like I'm just gonna keep getting food. And I do right now I'm doing this with Lily's dinner. You can either, if they're not super food motivated and they don't love their food, you can just use like cheese or carrots or whatever, hot dogs, whatever you want to use. If the dog again is like super, I knew you just, please, why are we taking so long? The dog's really fearful. Just use something that they've really, oh, this cat is being good. We should reward the cat for not interfering. Nope, for the cat. What a jerk. Okay, so we're at the point where you can hold the dog and you can pick up the object. You're gonna be doing this now, paw. Just hold it for a little bit. paw. Hold it for a little bit, yes. So just do that until you can do this for maybe like 5-10 seconds. It doesn't have to be a long time because once you start dremeling or clipping, the dog's gonna have to get used to this again, basically, for however long it's gonna take to dremel each nail. So like, I don't feel like the amount of time like this happens, matters. I just feel like 5 to 10 seconds is about how much I did with her. So the step after that had paw, William. So at this point, some people will teach their dogs to target the thing with their paw. I don't like doing that because Lily starts to try to target things with her face, and I never want her to target the Dremel with her face because it just wouldn't end well for you. So the next step, paw, is you're not turning anything on, you're just literally touching it to your own hand. Yes, done. Paw, touch it to your own hand. Yes, done. You're not even touching the dog with it. Unless you feel like if your dog like really doesn't care, yes, done. Then go ahead to the next step, but yes, done. And you're gonna do this, paw, and just like wait until you can do this for like 10 seconds, and the dog is like Lily, like she'll have a lip lick every now and again, but she'll sit there and she'll wait. I personally feel like for the most part, whenever Lily starts doing this, it's because I'm not moving fast enough for her, because she'll do the same thing outside. She'll lip lick like crazy when I'm not doing things fast enough, and she has to sit there and wait. Yes. Okay, once this part is good and your dog is fine with you holding the thing for however long on their foot, see, like she's already touching it with her nose. You're not supposed to do that, and you know that. I would start just putting it a little. Oh, I know that was weird for you. So what's going on? Paw. Just put it on the dog's toes. Done. Paw. On the dog's toes. Yes, done. So however long this part of keeping it on the dog's toes for however long they'll tolerate, yes. Without turning it on, without touching it to a nail yet, just on the toes. Yes, good girl. Can you be, look, you're not even on your bed anymore. Can we back up? Back up, back up, back up to your bed. So the next part, however, here, paw, this might take a while. This is where you really you super, super need to be patient with your dog. Is basically touching it to their toe, like to the toenail, but not turning it on. You're just literally just touching it to their toenail. And again, you're just showing them like nothing bad is happening. Literally, like it's just to your toenail, and then it's done and you get food. Just over and over again, paw. Yes. And again, you can keep doing this and increase the amount of time that you're holding it to the toes, just so they're used to the fact that like this is gonna be here for a while. And you can start just on the like the flat face of the nail, and then you can move on to the bottom. And again, you're not turning anything on yet. You're just getting the dog used to the fact that like, hey, there's a thing, sometimes it's gonna touch your feet, and then you're gonna get food, and nothing bad is gonna happen, and everything's gonna be good, right? I know, it's weird. I know, it's also, I think it's really weird for Lily, because she's expecting that at any second it's gonna start buzzing, and it's not, and it's probably psyching her out a little bit. How are you so dirty all the fucking time? So after your dog is fine with like paw, any object, Dremel, remote control, phone, pen, knife, not knife, just kidding. Whatever object just being touched to their nails, you're gonna basically start this process over again, except with the sound. So I would suggest that because this thing gets really, really noisy, I would start like behind your back, just have it running, paw, yes, done, off. Just get them start getting them paw used to the fact that it's going to be on, you're going to be touching their foot, but they don't have to see it yet. Paw. Yes, good girl. Just so they know, like, literally, it's just the sound that happens, and then it's over. Just over and over again. Paw. Yes, good girl. At which point the next step, the next like several steps would be bring it closer and closer. Yes, good girl. With their paw in your hand, without their paw in your hand, just paw. Just get them used to the sound. Another thing you can do that I've seen people do online is they'll literally just sit with the dog on the couch and have this thing running just to get the dog used to it. Like the first couple times we did this, Lily was just like, what the hell is that? Like there's no way that I'm going near this. But like just literally, yes. Just get them used to the fact that it's a thing. It doesn't have to touch them. It doesn't have to go near them. Just somewhere by them, this is a sound that's going to happen, and it's not going to be bad. And you're basically paw. Good girl. You're just gradually getting them used to this, getting closer and closer until basically it's like paw, until it's like here. I hope the video can like see that. It's just there. It's like, again, you're not touching the dog with it. It's just. Was that you?
Yeah, step on her comment.
Can you come over here for a second and just make sure my hand is in the video? Never mind. So just waiting to make sure that you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Yes, she keeps looking at it like she wants to target it with her nose because. That's not going to end well, and we're going to have to do this all over again. Yes. Can you just... It's just Alex, paw. Can you just make sure right now in the video you can see both my hand and her and this thing? You don't need to move it. You just tell me yes or no.
No, yes.
Okay. So you want to be at the point where you can literally hold a dog's foot and have this thing running, and the dog doesn't care. And the dog is just entirely focused on the food. Lily, like, literally, like, this is fine. She doesn't care. You need to get to that point before even, like, thinking about touching the thing to the dog's foot. Otherwise, you're going to have to go backwards. Step after that, again, no, move your foot. You got to move your face. Have it running and touching your hand. Running and touching your hand. Running and touching your hand. Just so they can get used to... This is kind of like when you, like, place a catheter in a dog. And before you start shaving, you just like have the clipper on your hand so that they know the vibration is going to come and to not scare them with it. Like, well, it's the same exact concept. Just getting them used to it. At which point, ready? I would start then kind of getting the dog used to the fact that you're going to be holding their foot and manipulating like their digits. But you don't need to turn this thing on yet. Just have them know like, okay, we're going to be laying down. They're going to be touching my individual pad and my individual toes. And the thing is going to be there and nothing bad is going to happen. Once they're okay with that, pad. I want this and I want this on at the same time, but not touching each other yet. Yes. This might take a while. And like don't try to rush it. Just like be really patient. It could take a while just because it's such a weird thing, and so many dogs already have this like preconceived notion of, oh my god, like my nails are being touched and something is happening and it's gonna hurt. Which is why I would again just like really recommend the Dremel over a nail clipper, because the dog will start feeling the sensitivity way before you make them bleed. I've basically taught her to essentially start pulling away very gently when it comes too close, instead of just like yanking her foot back like she would with a clipper. So once this is fine with them and you're touching toes, I would go at a very, very, whatever the lowest, it's running right now, I don't know if you could hear it, very low setting, just touch it, yes, like huge amount of treats for that first touch of the Dremel to the toe. You gotta move your face, I know. Stop. Yes, just huge amount, I'm not giving her a lot right now because we need to finish the demo, but like lots of reward, like huge, I know, a huge party, just like, yes, like what a great dog that you're tolerating this. Once at the low setting, you can kind of keep it there, yes. You can, like, you're not gonna get much dremeling done at the lowest setting, but you're gonna need to kind of get them used to it and like do this literally with every toe. Have it done with every toe, that they're totally fine having it at the lowest setting before you can go on to the next one. At which point, like, yes, just, it gets a little louder, and then it gets a little longer, and then it gets a little louder, and then it gets a little longer, and you have to do everything in these tiny, tiny increments. And again, maybe your dog will be totally fine with, like, having all of this done the first day, and you're super patient, and the dog realizes, like, nothing bad is going to happen, or maybe this will take you a year. I don't know. I would just so highly recommend doing this because, yes, it has changed the way that we do everything, and it's none of it is fear, and she feels comfortable, and she's more confident, and just makes, like, such a great training experience. And then after that, you're basically just getting them used to, yes, longer and longer periods of time of paw. I know, it's hard. We literally just did all these yesterday, so they're all a little bit too short. Yes, good girl. You're just getting them more used to the thing being, I know, you smell all these things. It's because you're not sitting comfortably. You're just getting them used to, good girl. Yes, good girl. You're getting them used to the fact that it's going to be on their nail, it's going to be louder, and it's going to be longer, but you're only doing it in these tiny, tiny, good girl, yes, tiny little increments. And even with her, I won't sit there drumming one nail for like 5 minutes. I'll do these tiny little increments so she knows that, paw, yeah. She knows the reward is coming. She knows nothing is going to hurt. Yes, good girl. So I'll do a couple of nails just to show you what it should look like. Yes. And eventually, when you get more comfortable with this, you can be watching, for the most part, I'm still watching the Dremel instead of watching her, but I'm trying to do both at the same time. Because they'll give you very subtle hints about when it's starting to hurt. Like, they'll kind of focus in down a little more to be like, hey, like you're getting too close. So if you can, once you can start, yes, just keeping it super, super still and watching their face at the same time. Yeah, that's what happens when you don't chew. Well, and like, in the beginning, try to never grab for the dog's foot. You always just want them to kind of give it to you. So you're giving them a choice in what's going on. Yes. The only other thing that I would want to say is that I've done some reading about how you should be dremeling or cutting, and there is a technique that I believe is called the alternative or the alternate cut, where instead of kind of going like this to the nail where you're kind of flat at it, you're kind of going above it and drilling down on it, and it's supposed to make their quicks recede. Pad, can you, Alex, can you just see if you can get the video to be kind of more on her nails just for a minute, and then basically it'll be, I know, you got nervous. Can you kind of see? Mm-hmm. Okay. So basically the alternate cut is you're going from basically like dorsally against the nail. Yes. The thing is falling. Paw. Good girl. Instead of going like this, you're going like this, kind of almost from the top, but so that you can still get like the bottom of the nail. Yes. But supposedly it's supposed to make the quick recede faster if you can start cutting that way. We're only starting to work on this now because we've never had her nails dremeled dorsally. We kind of have to get her used to it again. Paw. Good girl. So you'll see she'll kind of be like, what the hell are you doing? This isn't what I'm used to. Yes. But she takes it. If you have any additional questions, let me know. That's it. You can pause it.